Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Geekverse Podcast, episode 341.
341.
Oh boy, I am the I'm the clown prince of podcast trash now. Let's just go with that.
I am the fastest Kirklin patzer in the world.
I'm the Blue Devil, Taylor Fields.
That was a good one.
That was a good one.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't guessed by our nicknames, this is the Sonic review / spoilers discussion. We are going to talk about that in a second. If you've not joined us for a review, we're going to review the movie. We're going to give you the 3, 2, 1, and then we're going to say Geek vs. Assemble, and then we jump into spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie, that's your time to turn out. Or if you don't care, just come along for the ride, because I don't think you need to care. So let me just pull up here.
You just saw this movie, literally, right now.
I
so.
did. Well,
Oh,
no, I
damn.
went to
That's
the
what you're seeing
I went
today.
to the earlier one. Yeah, that's why I saw it today. But
It's fresh in the dome.
before we get into that, Taylor, what's popping off on Facebook? What's back?
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, the Star Wars fan base poll is locked and loaded, and we're rolling it out, and
It's gonna end 2024 with the amount of characters.
it
they put
is
in this.
it's the biggest poll, and some people who I won't name think it was a little overdone.
I do. I love. I love the fans, but when I saw this thing, I was like, this poll is going to take forever. And the other thing that makes me salty, because Taylor always makes things about the poll that makes me salty. Every Star Wars character of the prequels that was in the last Star Wars poll is back for this one. And you
But
said...
try explaining that to the fans, though. They're going to be like, where's Yoda and Ki-Adi-Mundi and Anakin and Obi-Wan?
All you had to say is they were in our last poll. These are new characters. And because everyone's going to bitch and complain, you know why? I'm not going to name drop the person. I'm not mad at you. But there was one fan on our latest poll that said, who's fighting? Taylor writes up a whole paragraph to put up who's fighting. It was Count Dooku and Aurra Singh. And then we see this comment, who are the fighters?
To be fair, in the paragraph, I normally I post the names of who's contending, but for
You
some reason,
did.
no, it wasn't listed in there. For some reason, it copy and pasted like the two
I
things.
checked.
No, I changed it, but originally it had
edited.
like two of the same
Well,
paragraphs.
then now we got to delete that Geekverse comment because I said it's in the post right there. You just got to read it. So now
But now it's there.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
so
he won't
who's
know.
the idiot? Yeah. Great. But yeah, and then that, and because the other reason, we're going to get into Sonic, don't worry, but the other thing about the polls was I was like, man, these movies characters are going to run over everybody. And what's happened so far, Obi-Wan versus some guy, that guy got 1 vote. And then
Out of like 200.
And then
blew me
today,
away.
Count Dooku is winning by like 150, and Aurra Singh got 2 votes. So that's the thing, like, all these anime characters, because even Emily, I call her out, she voted for Count Dooku. I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
you don't even know Aurra Singh, but it's because our Facebook is made of not just hardcore Star Wars fans, so they're just going to vote for the movie people.
I'll
So
agree only to
none
a
of-
certain level
No,
because
no-
once we get to those clones, I think it'll change.
I'll hold you to the word, but I think you've been wrong
Once we
every
get to
time.
Cade.
Oh no, it'll
Oh.
be with Obi-Wan against a small Twilight guy. It's an easy win for Obi-Wan. I mean, who's gonna vote against?
I know, but
him?
what would have happened if you put the Twilight guy against Aurra Singh? That's why I think those movie characters should have been banned, so we could have seen all these more lesser-known characters who would win out of those guys.
But
I
there's a
know
lot
Obi-Wan's-
of lesser-known characters versus other random.
But not
characters.
in the first 2 rounds so far, and the next round is something like what is the next round?
Lux Bonteri versus Heath Koth.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
And I've watched Clone
So,
Wars.
but you seem to have a problem with Anakin versus the younglings.
No, we'll get in that another day when we get closer to it. But speaking of that, check out the Clone Wars retrospective. Me and Taylor have finished that. Every single episode is out. So we just did season 6, and then next week we will be starting the review. Season 7 drops on Disney Plus. We'll be reviewing every day. It'll either come out. It'll come out within 24 hours. We're trying to find out a time to record it, but it will come out, so we're going to do that. What else we got going on? Birds of Prey reviewed last week. That was really good. So the polls are up. We're doing Sonic now. Patreon, get on that because our Suicide Squad commentary track is exclusive there for $5 tier. We will be recording Mortal Kombat next month. And then also we're going to be starting the Bond retrospective.
Oh, yeah.
But if you want to get it early, go to the dollar tier because I think it won't be releasing until March, and we're going to try and record an episode this week. So if you want to get early stuff, and at the dollar level, you get everything ad-free. So no ads whatsoever. You get just clear listening. And then on iTunes, please drop us a review because we're at 160. We're at 160.
Ooh.
We're trying to get to 200. That's a lot of reviews. I'm surprised. Some of them are bad reviews, but that's okay. We love you almost all of you. Some of you complain. Mainly Dylan doesn't. Dylan was a little salty about somebody calling him out by name. But Dylan said, does it count because they spelled it? I didn't say it. Dylan's always said, does it count a negative review if they name drop them? And technically in this review, they spelled it Dilon. So I still think
that counts.
I still don't know if he's technically been name dropped, though. You know, his name is in the description of the episode.
Yeah, but someone could be like, "Oh, that fucking Taylor guy sucks," and it could be like Tailer.
No, they just call you Rick Moranis and whatnot.
Moranis,
But what
yeah.
what we'd like is it, which we'll talk about one day.
He's back.
Yeah, he's back, Taylor. Now your Halloween costume's ready to go.
Oh yeah.
That's
Kids will know. My daughter will know who Rick Moranis is. So if you could go to iTunes and leave us a written 5-star review, we would appreciate that. We help us a lot, get us out there, exposure, everything like that. Because everything you listen to, everything you do, every content you consume creates more content for you guys. So anything else before we get into Sonic?
Where can they find us, Taylor? Don't you do that at the beginning?
Yeah,
of the
we do at the
episode?
beginning now. Yeah,
They
yeah.
can find us in the search bar, Geekerspace Podcast, Facebook, Internet Connection is all you need, and you're there.
Yeah, and the same thing, because I'm going to talk about this in the newscast. We're going to do a newscast about the Batman suit. We're going to break that all down. There's a certain review that came out that kind of had a question of something we could do. I would, and I think the guy was 9 or for life or whatnot, I would always recommend either use Twitter or Facebook, because we do see the review, and we're going to talk about it on the newscast, but I can't respond to you there. So many times people come to Facebook, come to Twitter. Taylor's changes polls thousands of times. The reason we have audio tracks on Patreon is because someone tweeted us, said, hey, like, could we get that? So that's the better way to go about it, because we can't, especially on Podbay, we can't reach those people. So let's get in this. I don't know how to start high. Let's start Kirklin, and let's go me, and let's go Taylor. So let's
Alrighty.
get a gauge of. So Sonic the Hedgehog, 2020. Obviously, lots of controversy. This movie was supposed to come out last year, but it got delayed because everyone complained about the design of Sonic. So
Yes,
Yeah.
I would say I didn't have high expectations going into this film, but I definitely had high hopes.
what's your
because
history with Sonic?
I am a huge Sonic fan. My first gaming device was a Sega, so all of those Sonic games I had. Yeah, exactly. I had Mortal Kombat and Sonic, I think, and I played all those games. I played the updated ones on GameCube, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. I just became obsessed with that. I think I had VHSs of the TV show back in the day, whereas at the end of the episode he'd give you a lesson, make sure to look both ways before you cross the road, kids. I had so many of those episodes. So getting, I guess I should start with the controversy of just the.
Also, the show, I can't remember if it's Netflix or Amazon Prime, but they have that entire show on one
Do
of
they
those.
actually?
Yeah, yeah. I'll
The
look it up.
cartoon?
Yeah.
Oh man,
I don't know if it's Netflix or Amazon Prime, but one of them has it because it's scrolling by. It's oh, the Sonic TV show.
I think it's Amazon.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that oof, you get me excited because I subscribe to that.
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah, when I saw that first trailer of just the first version of Sonic,
Meow.
I definitely just wrote this movie off right away. And I'm one of those people that I'm definitely glad that they did redo it because I really like the new look. I think that's one of the best parts about this entire movie actually is just Sonic's look in general.
And you put your money where your mouth is. My complaint was I just saw a lot of people that are complaining we're never ever going to see this movie, and they were just complaining for the sake of it. You get to complain because you pay. You gave them the gratitude. Oh, you changed it. Here's my money.
Oh, absolutely. And I was just hoping for just a fun basic Sonic movie. I was hoping for just Chaos Emeralds and more of the Sonic characters like Knuckles and Tails and all those guys in there. And this one is basically just Sonic in the real world. I didn't see Detective Pikachu, but I assumed it would be something similar because that movie is just Pokemon in the real world, right?
Yeah, pretty.
Correct me
I
if
would
I'm
say
wrong.
that one feels though as someone that very casual and a hater of Pokemon. I at least feel like that's a Pokemon world. I don't think they did the
Okay.
greatest job, but it does feel like this is a fictional city where this
Yeah.
does is just this is Sonic in a real world.
Yeah,
setting.
and I don't know, I didn't mind the whole explanation of them jumping worlds, and then now that's how he's in the real world, and then the town that he's in is Green Hill, which is a level from Sonic.
So yeah, we get it.
Yeah,
You're not going to the real
it's
place.
kind of fan service, you know,
Yeah.
maybe not everyone's grandmother would understand that that's from the Sonic games, but people that do play it would understand that. So I did like that stuff, and there was some other little I don't know, little what do you call them? Just fan service
Easter
things,
eggs,
Easter eggs,
yeah.
yeah, stuff like that. So I did like that stuff, just being a fan of Sonic, but overall I was just so disappointed with the story and where we're going. I was very disappointed, and just after I watched that movie, it's basically I waited so long for like a good version of Sonic, and I feel like even if this happens to make a lot of money, so they get a sequel, I feel like I'm stuck in this different Sonic world than what I was be hoping for. So I was disappointed with that. Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik, I just didn't feel like it was Dr. Robotnik like whatsoever. It just felt like Jim Carrey to me, and it felt like I'm a fan of Jim Carrey. Like, don't get me wrong, I thought he was funny, but it was just him. So it's not like, oh, this is totally Dr. Robotnik. There was a few times where he would just be talking to someone, and like the way he'd be talking like really quickly and scientifically, I was like, oh, there's a little like hint of Dr. Robotnik there, but like for the most part it was just Jim Carrey as another villain. I had a couple friends that I went with and they really liked it, but it was just Jim Carrey. Like, they're huge fans of him, so they're saying like that he was the best part. I was definitely not in that camp. I thought the best part was just Sonic's like overall look, and I don't know, like I like the rings, the usages of it. I don't know, just because it's such like a video game thing, kind of like Mario coins, where it's like, how can we incorporate this in a way that makes sense? It's not like he's just going around there floating around and then he just gets coins. It's they explain it in a cool way, so I like that. But overall, I was just hoping for more Sonic type characters. I'll go into it more in spoilers because I don't want to say anything if you haven't seen the movie yet. But overall, I don't know. I'd say you can just skip this movie, wait for it to be on Netflix or wherever it's gonna go. Yeah. I will say it's funny because this was Paramount, right?
Yeah.
And like every single trailer was Paramount Animation. Was that the same for you guys?
No, I got a couple.
Yes.
Yeah.
I got a couple of those. Yeah, but I was a little late to the previous. I didn't see it.
Yeah.
I saw it with a daughter, so you don't really.
Yeah,
you're getting
that's
popcorn and
fair.
stuff like that. So
Yeah, it's weird because I feel like
Yeah.
this movie has to make a lot of money just to like make up for all the money they had to spend to redo it.
Well, that's I was
The
looking
animation?
at, yeah, and that's like because lately we've been in reviews a bit later, so it's like it's not gonna. It's tough because it's not gonna bomb because it's a 4-day weekend for Canada and then for even America too because they
Yeah.
got President's Day. So 4-day weekend's gonna be about
Good release
61
time.
million. Yeah, 61 million. There hasn't been a kids movie in a while, so that's pretty good. But like, I don't know because I was gonna look up the budget. I don't know what the real budget is because as always, you gotta take the budget and you gotta double it for advertising. But then I feel like you'd have to double it again for maybe. I don't know because I'm not versed in visual effects, but I would just feel like a whole overhaul of that, and especially that studio got laid off as well. So it's
Yeah.
like
We
clearly,
don't have to pay them anymore.
well, yeah. So it's just like I don't know, but I feel like it has to make a good amount of money. I guess what they I think are banking on is that enough kids and families see this that maybe there could be a second one, but more that just they want to go and get merch and
Yeah.
toys, and that's where it's like that pushes that. Even if the box office was fine, it's like the same way I talk about Birds of Prey, where it's like even if it breaks even, like the Harley Quinn Hot Topic merch is gonna do good, Blu-rays and streaming. So I think they just gotta hope that kids really walk out of it loving it, and like,
Yeah.
oh, I love Sonic, like that's blah
That
blah
is
blah.
fair.
Yeah.
How was Gwen when you left?
So
Did she
yeah,
like
this is
it?
where I'm coming in. She like enjoyed it. So she's 2.5. She's only been to 3 movies. She saw Frozen 2 twice. Or no, sorry, 4 movies. We went to Paw Patrol Rescue. That was something. And then Frozen twice, and now this one. She liked the Sonic parts, but
Yeah.
then with the real life people, she was getting antsy, and I had to like, oh, Sonic's coming up, or I had to point out and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
she really the first like not a big spoiler, but the first 20 minutes is more about like Sonic's origin or like what's going on with him. She was really locked in. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
she's really liking this. But then I feel like it's like with any kind of like I never watched them, but Alvin the Chipmunks or like Smurfs, where they take these CG characters, they put them in the real world. I feel like there's always a disconnect when you go to the real world. People are like, I don't really care about them. And
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt.
I felt the same sentiment as Gwen, that I didn't really care about them the same way. It's different though with Detective Pikachu because it's weird because that I like Ryan Reynolds, but I hated the real world people. And Justin Smith, I'm not a fan of him. But this, like, I don't hate Cyclops, aka James Marsden, and Jim Carrey, so I found them a bit more tolerable. But there's nothing like driving me there,
Yeah.
right? Because the beginning of this movie sets up why Sonic's in the real world, and then he's actually around for quite a while, which I like. Because for a while, I thought at one point we were gonna get, it's gonna be like the human story for half an hour, and
Yeah, I was worried.
and luckily it's not. But there's still quite a bit of like human drama stuff, so that stuff doesn't work for me overall. I thought it's like the exact same as Detective Pikachu. I think people that Taylor's gonna be that other side of the corner, but I don't hate it. But I don't think there's anything outrageously bad. But that also sucks because if it's a movie that I'm not gonna enjoy, this just feels like a waste of time. I'll probably never watch it again because I don't think Gwen liked it that much to be like. I'd rather just watch the Sonic animated show
Yeah,
than have it all animated.
exactly.
So I don't think I'll ever have to see this again. And that's why for me, if my time was spent watching this, I'd rather hopefully it was like outrageously bad that like for that first trailer, I wanted to be that bad. So it's like, oh, I could have like had a laughing time where this was just, oh, fine. There were some lines I actually laughed at and enjoyed. I think Jim Carrey's actually trying in this movie, but whether it's the script or if his improv, the lines just don't work. They're just not that funny. Maybe it's because he's kind of like in this PG environment, so he has to reel it back. But yeah, like Kirklin said, he's just Jim Carrey. There's no character here or anything like that. And then, yeah, it's just, I think because I've heard good things, not just from Taylor, but critics as well, but other fans. I just think people are enjoying this movie a lot more, in my opinion, because everyone had their expectations so low. And I still don't think Pikachu is a good video game movie. I don't think this is a good video game movie. I think Tomb Raider is like the only good video game movie, and that's just like fine. Like, I just like... I think I said this on Pikachu, but I've given up hope. You know, I'll take The Witcher any day. Like video game TV shows, I got more faith in. I got my fingers crossed next year for Mortal Kombat. I really want that to be good, but it's just such a basic movie. But I'd say it's like this is a very family kids movie. The humor, the lines, so that's where I would say you'd get enjoyment. If you don't have kids or you don't even aren't a big fan of Sonic, easily skip this. I don't even think you gotta wait till Netflix like I don't. There's nothing here I'd recommend. Is like you really got to see this, other than if you're a Sonic fan or maybe you're looking for a movie to see with your kids. Because I'm trying to think since Star Wars, which is sometimes maybe a bit too adult. Like what's been the last kids movie that's come out recently? You know,
Doolittle.
One of those.
Well, no one saw Doolittle, so
one of those animated shows. I don't know. There's Trolls or whatever that one was.
Yeah, I think you had your mic turned off when you said Doolittle.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I wanted to ask about Gwen because there's quite a few kids in my theater and they seem to be really liking it. Like a lot of he was doing like the floss dance and like I'm so tired of that. But like for them, they like that stuff.
Yeah.
So
Gwen's not old enough to know what the floss is yet.
Yeah.
And I'll be the counterpoint. I still like the floss. The reason I like it is because it's the dragon I can't catch. I can't do it. And I keep trying, but I can't pull it off.
Funny.
So yeah.
Well, there you go.
So Taylor, I imagine you had a good time with this film, so you can be the more positive.
Yeah, if I had to sit through this whole movie and he was his old design, it would have been very hard. I imagine.
I think it would have been like one of those fun movies where you go with some friends to just laugh out loud. I would have been kind of
creeped out a little bit.
It's just stuff like the way you didn't give Birds a 10 for the reason. I won't say why. Check out the spoilers video. And then even this, so you're saying this movie is the exact same. It would have been hard for you to watch if it was that guy. But just because his look changed, the entire outlook of the movie changed.
Yeah, because that's how,
I think his look was
for
my
Kirklin,
favorite part of
the look
movie.
changed it for
But that
him,
didn't make it a good movie for Kirklin. For you're
but
saying
it made it one of his favorite parts of the movie.
But you're saying this made it a good movie for you, I think.
No. I'm just saying it would have been harder to watch this movie if it was his old look.
This makes no sense because I swear on your Facebook someone said, was it good? And you said the best video game movie yet.
I don't know.
What do you got to work with?
No. We're gonna look that up. I would not drop that.
Because you told us it was better than Assassin's
Creed.
Creed, but Assassin's Creed is like if you had a shit pie. Like that's not too hard of a thing. But Taylor, to me, the reason I was surprised because in our group chat and then the way Taylor's posted.
So you said, best video game movie yet. I said, oh man, I loved it so much more than I thought I would. It's such a great time. So I'm not I'm not responsible for it if he goes and he doesn't like it and I say I liked it.
Check the transcripts. It checks out.
I'm gonna check it. You continue.
Yeah. So with Sonic though, went in there and I was excited. I'm a big Jim Carrey fan, and hearing things about how popular this was, going in, I was making me feel a bit more excited about it and watched it. And I mean, I don't know what really to say. Just I really enjoyed it. I love seeing.
I think it's gonna be a short review too. In
probably
the spoiler section, I don't have too much to say.
I really enjoyed seeing it be in my film in parts of my hometown and the town next to my hometown, which is super cool. I think that's awesome.
It looked very BC.
Yeah. So shout outs to
Green
us
Hill.
British Columbians. Yeah, Green Hill. But.
I got him.
What do you mean you got me?
Sonic was amazing. My favorite video game movie ever.
In the group chat. I thought you meant public on Facebook.
Oh, so what you say to us is not public.
It's supposed to be off the record.
And you said more than Assassin's Creed, so you still put Assassin's Creed above Detective Pikachu.
Yeah. But I definitely like this more than Assassin's Creed and Detective Pikachu. For me,
so it is the best video game movie ever.
For me, it is. But I wasn't going to tell it to anyone else.
He's revealing all of his cards now. It's like Palpatine. Yeah. He's going all out.
I gotcha, Sarah Palin style.
But no, for me, this movie, it's definitely my favorite video game movie that I've seen. And
They'll use
Like how
that for
your
the
review
Blu-
is just like changed, just like took a turn.
See, ladies and gentlemen, that's why you need to get us to 200. Because one of the goals that happens if we get to 200 reviews, we can become Rotten Tomatoes critics. So they could use that quote on the Blu-ray cover. They could use Taylor Phillip of Geekworks, the best video game movie I've ever seen. You
they
guys
will
want that?
too.
So get
They'll call me up.
I know more than 40 people listening to this that have not reviewed it. Go to iTunes and review it now. Go ahead.
Okay. But yeah, I just think his whole journey throughout this movie, I liked how it felt like it was action, adventure, and it just felt like a thrill ride. And I loved how literally how fast
These are
it
all
was.
poll quotes they're gonna use.
I love Sonic's character. I loved his personality. I loved his development.
I really
loved
liked
how-
his voice. I'll
I
give him
loved
that.
his voice,
It
yeah.
seemed very Sonic. So.
For me, like the humor, I really enjoyed Jim Carrey. I thought like I was laughing at so much of the stuff he was doing, and just he just had so many quirky things going on where I felt like this is like old Jim Carrey. And like for me, like playing Sonic, I played like the original Sonic. I still play it on my phone all the time. I love like the other Game Boy Advance ones. I love playing like the other like 3D ones, and
You like Sonic?
I like Sonic, yeah. I mean, it was even I think the first game we did in Rod or Not in our debut episode. It's just like such a classic kind of like thing in my life, and for me, like being able to identify subtle little things and why they chose to do certain things the way they did throughout the movie. I love how the subtleness was a complete reflection of the games itself. So I'll go more in depth with like the spoilers.
Okay, good.
But it was super cool how they did like these certain little things. And so I don't know, like I guess like Jim Carrey's Robotnik was definitely, it wasn't like exactly like the ones that you see in the game for sure.
It was
but
nothing.
Like,
That was not Robotnik.
I-
You could have named him Mr. Evil, and they'd be the same
Yeah.
character.
I definitely though I liked his take and his spin to it. I like, for me, I didn't see like I was laughing because it was Jim Carrey, but I didn't see like, okay, this is like Jim Carrey just being Jim Carrey. For me, I felt like, okay, this is just some
Really?
evil guy, and I like seeing Jim Carrey in this evil role, and just like so many of his scenes where he's just being so obnoxious, and I'm laughing because it's like I'm not expecting this. It's so random, but it's hilarious, and I love the floss dance too. I loved whenever every time that would happen.
Yeah. I
So-
support it. I'm not gonna go love, but I support it.
2 out of 3 support it.
Yeah. Anything else in this review before we get into
For
spoilers?
review's over.
Done.
All right. You said last week, Kirklin. So Taylor, this is your last chance. We're going to spoilers now. 3, 2, 1.
Geekverse assemble.
So the only thing I want to start off with is this is a shot against the marketing campaign. I hate movies doing this because Taylor's like, oh, wait until you see the end credit scene. They showed that scene in the trailer of him becoming real Robotnik.
No, that's not the scene I was talking about.
What scene? Oh, then
There's
I
a
didn't
scene
stay.
after.
I didn't stay for that one.
Did
Oh,
you
you
say
didn't?
after?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
You know
Okay.
what scene I'm talking about,
Like
right?
when Tails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, did they
Tails
actually
comes
show
in.
Tails
Tails?
comes in.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool. Is
He comes through like one of the ring portals.
Yeah.
And then he's like,
It-
I'll find you, whatever. He looked cool.
He looks so
into
cool.
the real world?
in
Yeah.
the real world. Yeah.
Okay, so we can talk about that in a second. Yeah, no, I didn't care that much to stay
Yeah.
with Gwen to
Just
sit through
ready
the.
to
I was
lay
gonna
me out to
leave,
dry.
but my crew wasn't moving. So
Okay, no, that's
Those
fair
credits
enough,
though
then.
were so good though.
They were
yeah,
cool,
they were.
yeah, for what I saw. But then yeah, I take it all back.
He's ready to fucking
yeah,
roast me.
It was still the end of the. No, what? I will not roast you. I'll still say that I'll roast them because the same thing with Venom. We all knew when they did that thing when Venom was talking about a turd in the wind and he was like saving someone. We're like, oh, that's the end of the movie. That was still the end of the movie. Him turning into Robotnik. So stop using the last 5 minutes of your movie in trailers. I don't get like. That's
Yeah.
not gonna sell the movie. Like, make that as a little like a secret, like the Tails thing. I'm gonna have to YouTube now see if anyone's leaked it.
I like the like the change of the Robotnik, like when he was bald, just going full crazy, and he's got like that was the best looking Robotnik part. But I don't know, it's just Robotnik is such like a weird character where like he's very like round but lanky still, so it's hard to obviously have a real person do that. I will say though, one thing I did like about Robotnik was like the usage of the drones, because that felt very like the game of Sonic. Like there's just infinite of these little robots flying around, like those are the enemies in the world. So I did like that stuff, and the little like red circle that they have. It just seemed very like the Sonic villains. But I don't know. I feel like maybe if Jim Carrey's Robotnik was like in like I don't know, his little spaceships or whatever he's in, I might have liked it more. But there's just so much of him like being like that Men in Black, like the agent that's just going around like interrogating people, and
Tails does look good.
Yeah, he does look good, eh?
Yeah. That the movie's out 2 days. The end credits scene already on YouTube. That's a society we live in nowadays.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Overall, I was pretty disappointed with Robotnik.
You've seen the scene. Continue the review. Let me watch it.
Kirklin's talking.
Okay.
I'm talking
so
into space.
if you would you obviously because the way he looks, the way he was acting, are you excited to see him come back in a sequel? If
I
we
would
get
say
one?
if he has that look the entire time, I'd probably like it more. Especially, I feel like now he's totally tweaked. Like if he gets back to the real world, like he'll just be like mentally crazy.
Oh, he
and
has to be.
It might be like fun that way, and I don't know, because like I mentioned before, there was a few times that he was talking to, I don't know, just whether it be the main guy. I don't even remember his name. Was it Tom?
His sidekick.
Yeah.
Oh man, just gave me flashbacks to Birds of Prey. I'm like, this is the bad version of Birds of
Zaz.
Prey. Yeah, of Zaz and Black Mass.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
there's at one point where he's like, pin yourself against the wall. He's like, what? Pin yourself against the wall. I'm like, this feels just as like sexual as the Black Mass and Zaz thing, but I hate it. And I was not a fan. I'm not saying that guy's a bad actor because I don't have anything else to do with it. I just was not a fan of that guy in this movie.
But like, there's a couple times when he would just be talking, and it felt like Robotnik. But overall, I just feel like the whole like formula that they were going for this movie just didn't sit well with me. Like them being in like the real world and that being like the
You've
main
seen
factor.
it 1,000 times. The
Yeah.
other thing that I thought was going to happen, but I'm glad it didn't, when he got tranked and he couldn't run for a while, I'm like, oh, it's going to be like this the whole movie. Because we've seen that trope so many times where you bring
He's got
character.
the superpower.
Yeah, and
like,
how do we deal with it in
ability.
the script? Well, let's just take it away. And I thought they were going to do that. So I applaud them for not doing that.
Yeah.
Because I was really worried. I was like, you bastards. Like, you put him in the real world already. You already did that. And it's funny because I think because I had wrote this movie too, I didn't even think about how much it was going to be in the real world, but that just seems to be like one of the things nowadays. So it didn't bug me, but it didn't make the movie any better. I didn't feel like, oh, this was worth the journey because like, and poor James Marsden who had to like act alone this entire movie, like just on him on set, like he's acting with a golf ball, tennis ball. And I just feel bad for James Marsden. Like he got a raw deal Cyclops, check out the X-Men retro, and like he's a guy that I don't think is a bad actor, but it's just like, man, like this is, but hopefully it's successful, and hopefully that he got lots of good money for this. So.
You guys like know that Sonic has been like in the real world before, right? Like in the cartoons and stuff. Like
Yeah, but that's like saying Thor's been in the real world, but we never see him in Asgard or in space movies.
Well,
right?
I just
like,
wanted to make sure because I wasn't sure if you guys, because it
No,
sounded
no,
like you
yeah,
guys thought
yeah.
this was his first time, and it was weird in that sense.
Yeah,
but,
for
like,
me, I don't know if it's a story reason. For me, it just reads as like a budgetary thing, which is funny, the redesign and everything. But it's like, do we really want to be in a CGI place all the time? Nah, let's put it this cheap place.
Something I was thinking even is like from the very beginning of the movie when you see him like running to Longclaw, I think that was like the owl's name, and then like those things that were chasing him, like they seem like little Sonic creatures, like you could just see their eyes.
They
but,
looked like Knuckles almost.
Yeah,
the way their hair
yeah, they
came
did,
down.
and
Yeah.
like that, like I wanted to see more of that stuff, like because they looked really good, like just their eyes and like their character design. I really liked it, so I was just. Like, especially seeing that right at the beginning of the movie and then having, like, the whole thing in the real world with these, like, different take on Robotnik. Because Robotnik is, again, I'm getting back to Eggman, but he's just such a kooky-looking character that I feel like if they did this whole movie more of, like, an animated style, but, like, there's been animated movies where they've had actors and like they look like themselves. Take something like Death Stranding, for example. Like I feel like they could have had an actor like
I don't know why this
John
movie wasn't
Marsden or
just
whatever.
animated.
No, exactly, and
I
it would have
really
been so
don't.
much easier. You wouldn't have had to spend so much money hiring like Jim Carrey to like act
Yeah.
this out. You could have just like a voice actor,
I
and then
do
you could
think
have that
though-
actual look, right?
You could have, but if they would have done the bad look, I don't. That's one thing I don't think they could have went back
Yeah.
and redone that. So that's
Exactly.
one thing.
I'm
You
totally
would've
just
stuck with the
disregarding that bad look.
Yeah,
Watching
yeah.
this movie, there was so many times that like Sonic would be sitting down talking to them like on their couch, and like I would just think of like the
What if?
first version. I'm like, this would be like a horror movie.
You
And
know-
I would just start laughing because I'm like, I can't believe they like greenlit that in the first place.
For
I still
fu-
can't get over
well,
that.
for fun, we should start a hashtag release the Sonic cut because you know,
There you go.
there
We
is a
should.
cut somewhere of that
Yeah.
movie.
Well,
and
I want you guys to
They
think
burned it.
as well on this aspect. So the fact that they made Sonic look like that, you have to believe what did Tails originally look like.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, just lanky.
Oh yeah, the
Oh,
long
they're so
legs
creepy.
and the little eyes and everything.
So funny when you're walking into the theater, they like still have the old poster.
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
I can't believe that's what it was.
It's like if you
I still
broke
can't
up
get
and
over
like
that.
the old boyfriend's shirt still in the closet. What's that? Oh, it's my brother's. Don't worry about that takeaway. But yeah, I want to see that cut somewhere.
I want to
now.
see that cut.
That should be. I'll buy the Blu-ray if you can do that, or I'll find a way to
I
borrow.
feel like
it
I
from
would have
somebody.
enjoyed it more, just because I would. Cause like at the beginning of
You
this
didn't
movie,
like the
I
actual
was
movie,
taking
yeah.
it. I was taking it seriously to an extent. Like I'm invested in this song. I want a good Sonic. I think it's when they after Sonic like all the and he the people off, and then it goes to the Pentagon, and there's like 4 guys in a room literally like this big. They're supposed to be like in the Pentagon, and like their
Watchmen
dialogue,
style.
yeah, their dialogue was so bad.
All of it was.
All the
yeah.
dialogue was terrible.
That felt like an Austin Powers, like the
It
world
did.
leaders
Oh
are
yeah,
in a room.
yeah, exactly. And it's like from that point on, I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna take this movie seriously. I'm just gonna try and enjoy it for like the kooky Jim Carrey humor or just
Yeah.
the Sonic look in general. But from that point on, and that was like half an hour in.
Yeah,
I'm
and
like,
it
But then
did-
you
they
can't
lost me.
really have a room of like really intense like world leaders
That
talking
is
with
true.
like kids trying to
see-
listen.
Well, even though I don't think those scenes are great in Bumblebee, as I just watched that, they have those scenes in Bumblebee
Yeah.
still. I think John Cena's awful in those scenes, but they still set that up, and it still feels enough realistic enough. I know what Kirklin's talking about, because like it feels like just like cheesy, but in a way where it's not they're going for the cheese. It's cheese because this is just generic, and we've seen this 1,000 times, and it's bad dialogue, and that's where it's like if this would have went, we're going balls while making this a wacky movie, fine, but it's just like it is just a kids movie. They really went for like the bare necessities of just we're hitting A, B, and C, and that's it. We're not gonna flesh things out. We're not gonna make anything that super like anything new. It's just like if you like Sonic and you want to see him in a movie, here it is.
Well, that's
you know?
one thing I was gonna say to kind of defend the movie in a way. Like I mentioned before, there's some kids in my theater that enjoyed it, and like when I was seeing the flaw stuff, I knew that's like very kid centric humor.
Oh yeah.
So I was thinking to myself, like, there's some kid movies that I like when I was younger. I really like something like, I don't know, like Baby Geniuses or something, where if I rewatch it now, it's like, this is so terrible.
Yeah.
I can't believe that. But at that time, I really did enjoy that. So I am hoping that the kids really love it. And then, I
That's
don't know,
this movie.
It's
for
like the
them.
prequel
yeah,
trilogy.
exactly. So
Yeah.
I am like, because going into it, I didn't have that mindset of what that movie would be like. And now leaving it, the positive side of it is I hope the kids really enjoy it, and I don't know, it does well, and then they do get a sequel, because I do want to see more Sonic, but I feel like this was just so bad, and when I left, I didn't think that it would make a lot of money to have a sequel, so I just feel like
There's a
this is their
chance.
one time to be a
Yeah.
Sonic movie, and they butchered it, and then I'm scared that I'm not going to see Sonic again for like another 5 to 10 years.
Are you happy to see Sonic again though? If it's a sequel like this, like, are you gonna see the next one if it's kind of same thing like this?
Well, that's what I
Same
said
director,
earlier.
same
Is I was
crew?
just so upset with the story in general. Like, I feel like I am kind of out of it. But for me,
Yeah.
for my love of Sonic, I want it to do well, because maybe it'll lead to like a sideshow or something, or just more like popularity for that character, because he's very important video game character. Like the Sega
Mhm.
was one of like the first. I don't know. Like there's Atari and stuff, but I feel like the Sega, like that character is so like tied to video games, Sonic in general.
He just gets a bad rep. It's like the early DCU just because he lost to Mario, right? So he's
Yeah.
like the
there you
redhead
go.
stephead child. It's like-
Dylan's not a big fan of Sonic.
Yeah,
He's more the
exactly.
Mario.
Did you guys
centric.
find like there was like almost like shade and they're like, oh, I hate the mushroom place or whatever, like hating the mushroom
I didn't
kingdom
take it
kinda
that way,
thing?
but
I didn't
that's
think
kinda
that way,
funny.
but I didn't know we were gonna end up there. So when he said the place filled with mushrooms, I was like, oh, is that like a, because is Minions Paramount? Because whoever's doing Minions is doing the Nintendo movie.
Well,
so
Minions is like what, that Illumination company, or is that the
yeah,
same
but
thing,
Illumination's the animation company. I'm trying to think.
Oh.
Is Kirkland looking
I'm
it up?
looking it up.
Yeah, Final Dominion. Yeah, because I was like, when I was watching, like, I can't remember who's doing the Mario movie. Because I'm like, are they trying to set up
Crossover?
something? But then I remember that Mario's gonna be purely animated, which is the way to go, in my opinion. I think that's the way. And yeah, I feel the same way about Kirkland and all that stuff. I think for me, it's just because I didn't love it. I think I'm the same way as Kirkland. If you feel how I feel about the Ghostbuster or the not Ghost, Goosebumps movies, that's the same way, where I have a perfect idea of how Goosebumps should be, and those movies just completely tear it limb from limb, and I hate it. And they feel like a insult to injury. Someone cut me a wound and just pour salt in it. Where this is like, because I don't have the love, I'm
Yeah.
not as passionate, but I can see all those signs of like, oh, this is just it just feels like one of those movies where we talked about this in the group chat a few days. This just feels like they have an IP in Sonic. could be popular. Let's make a movie, and not much care given to it. And I don't mean to sound like feel bad for people that worked on it. I'm sure you worked really hard. It's just if you did, I mean, they did just for a kids movie, but I still think there are kids movies that are enjoyable for everybody, or can't. You can find that balance of like, I know it's a cliche thing to throw out, but look at Pixar. There is that balance of a kids movie that people enjoy or stuff like that. Where this is, I think, it's that lowest tier of just kids can really enjoy it, or Taylor Field, because Taylor Field, you still love the prequels, so you're still a kid at heart. You're good to go. So if you're a kid at heart, you'll enjoy this movie. But if you're Kirkland and myself, who are like old curmudgeon people that have been
old grumpy men
ruined by this world, then
Like I went in the theater not really knowing what to expect, because I didn't know what I wanted to see in a live action Sonic film. So when it started off, when we got like little Sonic and just his kind of backstory and just how quickly it jumped into the present day, I really liked that. And again, like the subtle little Easter eggs that they had in here, like when Sonic would get hit, and specifically when he got like Eggman caught up to him in his like real time and speed, and he's going down the skyscraper, and he got hit, and his coins flew or his rings flew everywhere. Like I love that. That was great. I thought that was subtle, and I love that him like bouncing off, like hitting Eggman's like rocket ship was like super fun, because that's just like the games again, and just those kind of little things. I like how subtle and like reflective of the game it is. And again, like his journey that he takes, and the fact that he goes from like trying to be on his own and not needing help to eventually like forming a relationship by needing help and just kind of building that friendship with the guy. And I just think like their dynamic with each other was hilarious. I loved all like the dialogue that they had, and just Sonic just trying to do everything like on his bucket list. I thought was a really, really fun idea. And
that's another thing where realism goes out the window, like when they go to the bar and everything like that. I know they explain he's some 40-year-old dude with a disease, but that's like the super kid movie, like hand wave, like, you don't care about this. Like, this is a completely different world. And that's what I mean about like a kid's movie where the adults can enjoy it, because the second you see that as an adult, you're like, oh, this is not, I don't buy into it. And I know people are like, oh, you're going to buy into it, but just that's, to me, the level of care they take. Like, oh, just write one line to explain why he's in this bar doing stuff. It's like, okay, I guess so. You know, it works in their world, but it doesn't for me as a viewer above the age of 5.
Just reminding me with that bar scene, something I also didn't really like was like the usages of when he would just go really fast and time would just stop. It was kind of like Days of Future Past. Yeah,
They ripped it off.
And like I thought I was gonna like it because I really like the Quicksilver stuff in X-Men, but like it just seemed so inconsistent on how they used it. And it's not even like, because when Quicksilver does it, like they're still moving, and I know that would take a lot more like money animation wise, and like obviously it's a lot harder, and I think their hands were already full trying to redesign Sonic, like the main character in the first place.
We don't have any money left.
So like time is just stopping, he's going around, and like it's kind of fun, but the usage of it was just so like random. It seemed like even when he was fighting Robotnik at the end, or when he was on the roof, like he kind of used it, but it just seemed a little inconsistent. And like I felt like since he used it more than once throughout the movie, like the end battle, it wasn't that amazing to me, because it was just like, I don't know why he didn't just do that in the first place, just stop time and run fast. I don't know.
Just direct those rockets to him.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, and like maybe I'm just taking it too seriously again. I'm still bitter that like I'm a huge Sonic fan, and it's not the movie I wanted.
He did it at the end, like against Robotnik, but Robotnik was able to match it, right?
Yeah, that is fair. Yeah. Okay.
No one ever beats me.
No. That is fair. I'll give you that.
But yeah, that was a full-on Quicksilver ripoff. They throw in
Big
a
time.
pop song in there.
Yeah.
It's like it feels like it's the same like shooting of it. I was like, oh, boy,
it reminded me of definitely of that, but I still loved it. Like I thought it was great seeing Sonic do it, and I liked in this sense that like people weren't moving, because to me I took it as like he's just moving that much faster.
Fair enough.
But again, like just that kind of their journey and leading up to like his like wife's sister, who was like, she was just really, really rude, but I loved her attitude, and they like tied her up. And
I love when she fainted and she was like, "Catch me, Jojo," or something like that, and she just fainted and stuff. I liked a couple of her lines. So
I loved when he got his red sneakers though. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
like because I noticed pretty early on he didn't have his red sneakers. So I'm like, I hope he gets them later, and then he did, and they look pretty sweet. The Pumas, oh man, I would rock those. I'd go fast in those.
that your Halloween costume, you're gonna put a bunch of blue fur on you this year?
I used to like literally have like blue hair gel and like run around my house and
Yeah.
just say I'm Sonic. Like that's how hardcore I
Don't
was.
do
into
that
Sonic.
anymore.
I don't do that anymore. No.
He would have if you
I'm
guys
not-
made
I'm
this
not
movie.
fast.
Good, yeah.
That homeless guy's drawing of Sonic.
Crazy George.
Yeah, crazy.
That's funny.
Yeah,
Like
his
the meme.
drawing just from it's the meme, right?
Yeah.
It's just made me laugh so
Yeah,
so
that's pretty
much.
funny.
There's just so many things in this movie that I appreciated and I enjoyed, and I love seeing the map he whips out of all the different realms. So I like when it ended, I definitely walked out feeling content and happy, and it's definitely something I want to see. More Sonic. I want to see them do a second iteration with Tails coming in there, because then I feel like the end credit scene to that would show Knuckles come in, because he came in and like
I don't want
Sonic.
to wait. I want Knuckles next movie.
Yeah,
I don't want
next
because
movie.
who knows
I
how
want-
the next movie does.
I want a
so.
handful of new characters. I want
Yeah.
because like
Shadow.
fuck yeah, I want Shadow.
I
And,
wasn't I wasn't I wanted to see something, but I did not think we would actually see Tails pop up in here. So, but I mean that just makes it even better.
Well, like I said before, I was just like if they have Tails and possibly Knuckles, and Knuckles is so tied to like the Chaos Emeralds, I feel like if they do them in the next movie, I might even like it more, because the stuff I really liked was the hint at like the Sonic type characters that we got in the beginning, which weren't in it for the whole movie, and I was just let down that the only like Sonic character was Sonic, other than the little like 10 minutes at the beginning.
Well, I think that they could do a really they did the first movie, and I feel like they could do the second one in a good kind of time where they jump back and forth between our world and then like the world, like the other dimensions with Sonic and his friends, because obviously when you look at
I don't
Jim
think that's
Carrey's
what we
like
get, though.
but when you look at Robotnik in the mushroom area, like for being like that whole world, like his character and the way he looks, and even though he's not even like cartoon, but he looks great in that world. Like he blends totally right in, and I think that's awesome. And like says like they could continue going into those worlds and bring him along into them.
I just think the fact that you have Tails coming to this world at the end of the movie signifies that it would be, you might get some more time in their worlds in that movie, but I think it would be more of Tails is here and then Robotnik comes back with a new machine and everything like that. Or the only thing you would hope is maybe Tails goes and finds Sonic and he's like, oh, Robotnik is taking all like the animals and whatnot, just like in the video games. But my worry is most of it would take place again in the real world, and why not? That's the formula, So
Yeah. All right. I don't have anything else really.
I will give this movie. Yeah, I got nothing else. I will give. Let me check my notes. I think it's everything. The Quicksilver scene. Blah blah blah. Let's see. There's one line I did like when the guy, Jim Carrey's lackey, brought him a latte, and he's like, "Oh,
Yeah,
you don't want
that's
this
pretty funny.
latte?" He's like, "Of course I want this latte. You make the best lattes." So there's a few lines like that.
I liked when he was talking to them on the roof, and he I gotta put my mic down for this.
He's getting his stand-up bit ready.
Well, yeah,
yeah.
the
so
guy
what's
like
the deal with Sonic?
the guy threw like the insult at him, and he's like, "Well, don't you mean like collateral damage?" And he whacks his hands on the side of his jet. It was so like random, and I wasn't expecting that.
Very random humor. There's another one that it was again just random like shock humor when he goes for like a high five with his buddy and he just like ducks and like knocks him in the throat. It's just so random. He's like too slow. That one, it was like more of just like I can't believe that just happened. But, like,
Yeah.
it was pretty funny.
When he's in his like lab and he's playing the music, which I really liked, and he was just kind of like grooving to it and experimenting, and then
That
he's
was
like
funny.
doing the
Songs of
skiing.
Anarchy. I like
Yeah,
that one.
and then he's like running from the T-Rex. You throw a dinosaur in there, that's an extra point in my books. So.
I knew you would like that.
Oh yeah.
I'll give this movie a 5 out of 10. I think it's just passable. Like I said, nothing great about, nothing outrageously bad. It's just one of those basic generic ones. I would watch it over Detective Pikachu. One, it was shorter, and I did enjoy it a bit more. Not that I enjoyed the movie, but there was a few more moments I enjoyed. This I wouldn't, if I had to watch again, I'd be like, oh, okay. But I could watch again Detective Pikachu. I don't ever really want to watch again. So yeah, that's me, a 5 out of 10. Just that 50% mark for me.
You want me to go?
I'm gonna end this on a positive note.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Oh
smart.
God, I shudder to think what your
yeah,
score is gonna be.
This movie, like I said before, I didn't have big expectations going into it. I was just wanting to see a good-looking Sonic, and I don't know, bring me into that Sonic world, because I've been out of it since probably the last time I played a Sonic game that wasn't like Sonic and Mario at the Olympics or Smash or something like that. And honestly, I'm pretty disappointed that I didn't get a lot of like key Sonic elements in it. I really wanted Chaos Emeralds. I knew Robotnik was the main villain, but I still wanted something like Chaos, like in like the actual character. I don't know, just stuff like that. And I felt like the reason why they didn't have more Sonic characters is because they just like their budget was spent so much on just recreating the one character. And I don't know, it's just there's a lot of things I didn't like in this movie. I felt like it helped it a little bit when I started thinking of like the targeted audience on this, and like there was a few kids in my theater that were really enjoying it, and so that's pretty cool. But for me personally, I'm gonna have to fail this movie. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 10.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna give it lower, but I did really like Sonic in general, and this is a Sonic movie. I liked the voice actor. I liked the look. Overall, I thought it was really good. There was a couple like mouthing elements, like when he would be doing dialogue, that I felt like was off for most of the movie, and they had to recreate the whole character. So I'd give them that one. I'm not being too picky. I know it was hard doing that. But yeah, overall I was just not happy with the story. I thought the script was terrible. All the dialogue between like the human characters, it was just so long, and I didn't care about what they're talking about whatsoever. I don't know. Overall, I just thought the characters were annoying, but 4 out of 10. There you go. And a positive, Taylor.
I told Dylan you wouldn't fail it.
I know you did.
I'm
That was so funny.
fucked now. Oh no.
I was surprised because the gifts Kirklin was dropping, I could feel that this was going to be a fail for him.
I felt like it'd be at least a 6 out of 10.
No,
At least a 6?
At least a 6.
6.
Damn.
I thought 4 was high. I was honestly lower when I left the theater.
Telling little kids. Yeah. This is a 3 out of 10 movie. How could you enjoy it?
They're laughing. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
This is
mine.
Shit. Yeah. You can't be a fan unless you've played the games.
Exactly.
I'm going to gatekeep you all.
Was my microphone tamping making noises?
Yeah, you're spinning it, and I could hear like. So when you're not talking, maybe it's just best if you're for sure not talking for a while. You could turn it off, or just keep it.
I might. I fidget. I need to get a fidget spinner while I'm
that's the
recording.
problem if you freehand it. There's potential
You
there.
get
So
like
don't.
A Britney Spears mic.
Yeah,
so
so
you
don't
can just go hands free.
Let's do it.
It's the cord. Every time the cord rubs against their jeans, I can hear it. So you gotta.
Oh really?
Is that why I
Guy.
felt something pull on my jeans?
I was just
I
trying to
looked
take
and
them
you were
off.
sitting
I
straight.
was just trying to
so
take
it's
them
like,
off.
It's like, what the fuck's
Happy
touching
Valentine's Day. You think Sonic is fast?
me? Okay, Sonic. Yeah.
Positive review.
This movie, as I said, I went in. I didn't know what to expect, but I
Kirk, what
went
do you
in
think
there.
he's giving it?
8 out of 10. 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I'll it's tough.
I feel like his number's gonna change though.
Yeah, I know.
We should have wrote it down.
Yeah, you're right. I'll say 8, but go ahead, Taylor.
So yeah, I went in. I did not know what I wanted in a Sonic movie, but I feel like I got it and then some. This movie I enjoyed it so much. I was laughing. It had so many random bits that I wasn't expecting. It felt like one cohesive, flowing story. It was entertaining. It had adrenaline, action, adventure, and I loved Sonic's journey from the beginning to the end. It was great, and I loved the characters kind of like going along with him and getting to learn more, and just the humorous bits that was in this. It was a fun movie, and it's, is it the best video game movie that, they could have ever have made? I will definitely say, like, no. That you could always make a better video game movie. But that being said, for a video game movie, I think it was definitely amazing. So I'm going to give it a solid 9 out of 10.
Hey, there you go.
I think that...
What is your 1 point off?
My 1
point
point off?
list any negatives in
Just
your review.
because it's, again, it's not like the greatest video game movie of all time. Like, and there are I can definitely understand where you guys are coming from in the sense, like, okay, there are some moments, like, and I guess for like Gwen's sake, like what she was saying or what you were saying, like
She gave me a whole review. I just stole
Every tune into her review.
every point that I just made. I stole from her. It's like the dialogue, Dad.
just the parts where it was like
I don't know what they're thinking.
Hashtag release the Sonic cut.
yeah. Just those parts where, like, it's just mostly human interactions and not enough Sonic. I would have liked to see more and more Sonic, but again, you have scenes like where he's just doing the speedometer thing or checking speeds, and Sonic's zooming by, and he's in the background, like, yeah,
so cringy. It was so long.
Really, I love
and
those
slow.
scenes. I thought it was so
so
fun.
much of him just like playing with like, and I knew what was coming. I knew Sonic was gonna run by it, but like the thing that led up to it, it was so bad in my opinion. Like it was like he was just talking to himself. He's like, "Oh, I am so bored." I don't know.
I thought it was funny.
I thought it pretty
Don't make
cheesy.
me remember remember that.
I thought it was so good, and just leading with that into him getting the turtle and running with the turtle was
The turtle,
absolutely
Yeah, it
hilarious.
was fun. But
But
like
that's a rip
that's
off
what I'm
of
saying.
X-Men Apocalypse
It was.
when he gets the bulldog and
That
the
is-
bulldog with
yeah,
the pizza. So
exactly.
they just
I don't even remember the bulldog.
Yeah.
I don't remember much of these
it's a
X-Men
French
movies.
bulldog. They just ripped off X-Men entirely. It's just so fun. I know it's like, oh, what else can you do with a speedster? But it's just like they're just so eerily similar. It's just like someone got as they're writing songs, like give me a list of characters that have fast characters with movies, and they watch them like, oh, we could do this, and yeah, oh, we'll make it a turtle instead of a dog. You know?
So
Nine-
yeah,
9 out of 10.
me personally, I would say you should go see this movie on a cheap Tuesday at least. If you aren't a big fan, just still go see it on a cheap Tuesday. Then, if you are a fan, then you're gonna go see it. That's great.
Please go see Birds of Prey before you see
Yes.
it.
I 100% like for me, I would probably watch this before Birds of Prey.
Oh my god!
I liked it more.
No, don't say that.
I think that like I
Oh
firmly do
my
believe like Birds of
God.
Prey should go see Birds of Prey because I love that movie a lot too, and I think that should deserves
You like
a
this
lot
movie
of.
more than anything Ewan McGregor did in Birds of Prey? Ewan McGregor's
Wait,
on
say
another
that- say that
level.
again. Well, I mean, yeah, he was Nick Cage tier, so I really like that. But I really like Jim Carrey and the
support Birds of Prey.
randomness, of this. Like, it was good. That being said, like, go and support Birds of Prey. I think you should go to the theater with your $24
you
and you
lost
should get
them.
tickets
You
for
lost
both.
them by saying they should see Sonic first. They don't trust you
Well,
anymore.
I'm not saying you should see Sonic. I'm just saying
You
like
did. You said over Sonic, over Birds of Prey.
you asked
see
me if
Sonic
I liked
first.
it more.
Still,
10
the
out
way
of
you
10
phrased
Suicide
it,
Squad.
Yeah. We're never,
Wouldn't even recommend Birds of Prey.
yeah, we're not even getting on the Birds of Prey Blu-ray anymore.
It all depends, what your P's and Q's are kind of like, what you like.
and
So
Q's.
yeah, I think if you're a fan of Mar or DC, go see Birds of Prey. If you're a fan of like video game stuff, go see Sonic. But at the end of the day, I definitely would choose to see Sonic over it. But that doesn't mean there's any takeaway from Birds of Prey. I think right now
I
both
think that's a big takeaway.
I think right
That's
now
disrespectful.
both these movies are I think Sonic's gonna still go along this good path and kind of do a little bit of do well a little bit financially, but I am crushed that like Birds of Prey is getting so much flack that it is. I think people are being pretty crazy about that. They're not bad movies, and I got my own political opinions about these things, so I'm gonna save that for the comment section of Facebook.
I feel like if Dylan saw this movie, he would rate it 1p out of a Q.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what he would say
Yeah.
too.
So there you go, Dylan. You don't have to see it. I rated it for you.
Tyler Briggs would be out of the theater.
He
Wouldn't
would've
even be
been
there
out
for
of
the
the
end
Faster than
credits.
Sonic.
Oh yeah. He would have been like that turtle. His face.
Yeah. All right. We thank you very much for joining the review. As we said, all the links at the beginning. Down below, we have the video and audio and all the feeds where you can find us and on social media. So thank you for tuning in this. Next week, I'm not sure. I think it'll be a newscast or something like this. We still got the Batman newscast we're going to do, but next week might be something like that. But we got lots of stuff dropping. Clone Wars, Retro, tons of stuff. So just subscribe. So thank you very much for tuning in. We promise you when you hear from us next time, it'll not be boring.
Bye-bye now.
Fast. Sonic speed.
Oh no.